everybody who is watching or listening or both. Welcome to our video podcast. And today we have a very special guest who is the CEO and the founder of engineering software Steyr, Dr. Martin Schifko.
Thank you, Peter.
So this is the first time we are recording, so I would just mention that we are here and our comfort zone is very far away. So, but nevertheless, we just dig in. Martin, thank you very much for joining and for finding a time to do this. It's amazing that we do.
Thank you for having the idea. Let's see how it works out.
Okay. So the reason why we do this interview is because we have two big events happening simultaneously. Because on the beginning of January there is like a 10 years anniversary of the company, which is like a big deal because we already work on the history. And the second reason why we do this is because of the announcement of ABB investing in ESS, which is also like a big achievement. So we would like to examine a little bit the details of both of these happening. So I would go straight to the topics, but maybe before we start, let me just ask quite a personal question because I know that it's now we are recording before Christmas, and for me it's quite a difficult period with my family and work. So how and I also know that you have like two beautiful daughters. So how you manage to not become crazy out of this? How you manage to this work life balance in this period?
Yeah, I have two wonderful daughters and a lovely wife. And my wife is also working. So this makes it a little more challenging. We have, I don't know, we try to schedule our days from Monday to Friday, quite tough and strict. So also the kids are playing their part, and I think they do a great job. And somehow it works out quite nice. The flat where we're living and my office is maybe not by coincidence only 10 meters away from each other, but let's say 20 meters away from each other. So, which gives us the opportunity to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together as a family almost on daily basis. So,
Isn't there a risk that you escape from home to the office? Something.
yeah, it is, and it's happening sometimes, and I get caught.
Yeah, because you are not far away, so
Yes,
your
yeah,
wife
yeah, yeah.
can grab
But
you.
I try to keep the work out of home, and
Mm,
I try to establish a standard that when I work, I move into the office
mm,
space,
mm.
and this helps a lot.
It's not like a home office thing
Y-
because you have the walls
Yes,
between.
exactly.
Cool, thank you very much. But now let's move because of the 10 years anniversary. It's a wonderful event. So I would like to talk a little bit about the beginnings of ESS. Can you tell me how it all started? How was the situation 10 years back? Where was this idea coming from to found a company like this?
Yeah, it was. I can tell you something. It was never planned. Um, I, w- m-
Hmm,
I was employed at Magna, tier one supplier in automotive industry. I liked my job very much, and I was allowed to develop and taking care about the products, the automatic meshing for the simulation, and the air and drainage simulation in the paint shop. So it's a subset of what we have now, but this was a really important subset
hmm,
because it was the basis of everything. And suddenly I heard the rumors that commercial software is not of interest anymore of the site, and I thought myself, Martin, if you know a little bit, then it's software developing, but not what
hmm,
is happening in the car and the rest of it. So I didn't know what else I could do in the company. So I approached them and said, look, it seems like what I'm doing may not be having a good future in here. So what do you think if I make a buyout of it? And they looked at me and said, oh, Martin, Magna is not selling, Magna is a buying company. So I thought, okay, this will not happen, but I somehow insisted. And 9 months later, um, also this is by coincidence, and the same day my older daughter was born, they told me that they're going to sell it. So now our initial plan with the new member in our family and I taking care of it a lot didn't work out. So, but it was a really nice, a nice start.
Okay, so it was a buyout from a company,
Hmm.
and you were working as a developer there, so you could take over and make it a product,
Yes.
independent product from.
And then everything had to work in rush
Hmm.
because we were thinking to submit the European Union proposal,
Mm-hmm.
but this doesn't work at Magna anymore. So it would work at a new company which is not founded. But if a company is not founded, you cannot register the European Union. And there was a timeline, I think it was 15th or 16th of January.
Hmm.
And we needed first to found the company, which succeeded on the 7th. And then we needed to register this founded company, the European Union, which also takes some time.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 days before project deadline, we succeeded everything, and this was, I would say it was a key that we worked that fast because we got this grant,
Mm-hmm.
and this helped us to start employing more people than we could have afforded otherwise. So
Mm-hmm.
it was very helpful.
It was quite a
Yeah,
luck and also
it
hard
was
work
a rush time.
involved. If you were to summarize this 10 years journey, what were different milestones? How can you see these 10 years if you should summarize it? How was it for you, like a founder, from the personal development, and from the company history? How would you describe these 10 years?
Mm. I realized myself being always an entrepreneur, even before when I was employed, because I couldn't understand some arguments by my colleagues those time because I didn't see a win-win for the company and the employee. And this I realized it only later. Um, so this already gave me a certain good background that I like to take responsibility and like to take care about it. Um, on the other side, it's there are a lot of up and downs. Let's say when you talk to some financial institutes, you need to open up, you need
Hmm.
to show everything of you. And if you are not used to, and if you have a personality like me, like I prefer to hide somewhere, and then suddenly I need to show everything and explain everything for some more loan or whatever you want to get.
Hmm.
It makes a big change of mindset,
Hmm.
I would say. And I also learned to address problems.
Mm-hmm.
Problems I didn't address before because I was more the observer role and look what is happening there. But in a company, if you do not address a problem, the problem is not resolving. And the longer you wait, the worse it becomes. And I was I still don't have it really good in me, but I learned a lot. There is the mayor from New York was telling, if there is a stone thrown into the one window of a house and you don't repair it within a month's time, then the house is lost.
Hmm.
Um, I wouldn't say that the time schedule is so strict in a company, but still, if there's a problem, you need to address it. And if you don't resolve it, there are losses surrounding it. And this gives me, from the mindset, a logic explanation why I can address it because it A helps the company and then subsequently helps everyone who makes the living out of the company, all the
Hmm.
people with the families working for it. So it helped me to actively address problems and trying to resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the market is not an easy one, automotive one.
I see, I
Hmm.
see. And if you were to choose a couple of points like milestones in these 10 years, what would it be? Were there any peaks or were there any difficulties? How was COVID, for instance, for ESS?
Yeah, COVID was a thunderstorm.
Hmm.
Those time we didn't have a lot of recurring revenue. We had non-recurring, so on-offs, which means service projects. And if suddenly the service project gets postponed and stopped, you don't have the order anymore.
Hmm.
If you have recurring revenue, they still develop and continue, and this got to a certain inflow. And automotive industry reacts much faster than all the other industries. Before we could read in Austrian newspapers about the problems in Europe,
Mm.
all car manufacturers stopped already all orders by early December because they were impacted by China that much, and their controlling system works that quick that they cut everything down. So from beginning of December till June, we didn't get a single on-off
Oh,
order.
okay.
And we
Mm.
we realized it was a very tough time, and it tells us how important it is to work on recurring revenue on a company on the one side, and on the other side, the good thing is we concentrated immediately on companies who didn't sell cars at the moment.
Oh,
So
okay.
that means there were a lot of new companies coming out. They're going to develop cars. They have a certain money because they don't need to make their living from the sales and from the black parts. They and we tried to access it and to help them, and they succeeded. So this
Mm-hmm.
was, I would say, somehow the key
Mm-hmm.
for us those
Mm-hmm.
time.
Was
Yeah,
challenging,
it
but
was very challenging.
was challenging. Okay. So, another question: what would you have done different if you had a time machine in these 10 years? Would there be something that
Yeah,
you would
mm,
change?
a lot, a lot. Um, let's say addressing problems earlier. It would be nice if I would have known this earlier. But the second, maybe even more important thing is
Hmm.
I have this maybe disadvantage ability to see a lot of opportunities and to understand that certain opportunities you are not going for, you are not at all addressing it because you focus on what you can do best and try to harvest the low-hanging fruits. And we realized automotive paint shop is we have a network to the most of the car manufacturers in the world.
Hmm.
We have salespeople everywhere. We have the products. Why the hell should we do something else?
Mm-hmm.
So first try to get them use the advantage of the tools, and then only then think of something else. And I didn't do.
Mm-hmm. So to
I,
reduce the portfolio to focus on the paint
yeah,
shop
yeah, yeah,
would
to
be,
focus
hmm,
on the main.
which we did in the end,
Yeah,
right?
we
Now
did the
they are
last two
very
years
focused.
heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's come to the ABB partnership. Could you explain it in a couple of words? What is it about? How much involvement there is? How did it start? Please.
So let's say it started proactively by myself thinking it would make sense to partner with a strategic partner. These days in industry, so much is changing,
Mm,
and if you have a strong partner, and then a thunderstorm cannot wipe you out
mm,
that easily anymore. I don't want to say it cannot, but not that easily. And and so we were actively looking for companies, and we were major interested in strategic partners. We were partnering with Deloitte and MA.
mhm,
It's a fantastic team. They gave me a short list about companies. Suddenly there was ABB on it, and I thought,
mhm,
why ABB? I didn't realize it those time
mhm,
because we are serving our products at the paint shop. Air drainage, e-coating, baking, sealing, top coating for helping the car manufacturers to produce the cars. So no, to develop the cars. So they develop the cars, then they engineer, and in the engineering time they try to make it feasible for the production. And here we help them. We help them to make every modifications as early as possible. That then when it goes to prototyping, they already have everything set and the car is producible in the paint shop. Uh, but ABB business is different.
mm,
ABB's business starts basically there where ours ended, in the late
mhm,
phase of the prototype phase and in the production with the robots. So I realized, oh, it would be an interesting extension. First of all, we can help them to get insights into the prototyping, and we get a lot of insights from having in the manufacturing process to understand the complexity. I already learned a lot. It's very
mm,
interesting
mm,
domain, and many things make much more sense than it used to be before. So we started discussing. We realized the potential added value for each side, and they for instance have a product. It's called Studio,
mhm,
and they can simulate the robotics movements. but they cannot simulate the application, what the robots are doing with the fluid or with the materials there. So here is where our software comes. And in the end, it will take some time. In the end, inside Robot Studio, people can do top coding, ceiling simulation. But even very early in stage, they could import our results and use it in there. So there is a lot of added value here and there, and we get access to the market. We used to work in a bottom-up approach. So we try to find the users, we try to convince them. It takes time because the users don't have decision level, right? But if you can talk to the top management, you can roll out other solutions. We, for instance, have automation solution which can automatically on weekly basis provide all results of the paint job on the table.
Hmm.
And this gives a huge flexibility to the car manufacturer, but we never could discuss. And we hope this ABB partnership opens up this discussion.
Mhm. What is the synergy between ESS and ABB in terms and what is different? How the companies are different? How are they similar? What would you?
Different is very easy. Huge corporate versus a very small ship in a big sea with waves, right?
Mhm.
So that's us and that's them. But what is interesting, we have, I feel, the same way of culture.
Mhm.
It's open, transparent, addressing problems, discussing them as early as possible as they are. And I like this way of honest communication.
Mhm.
I was once invited, no, a couple of months back, invited to a 50 years festival of ABB robotics in Sweden, in Stockholm.
Okay.
I, I could talk to astonishing people, and
Yeah.
this was uh, over then I knew if they are interested in investing in ESS, I want to partner with them because I could see the future of everyone in ESS,
Hmm.
that it's a very sustainable, good position.
Hmm.
So it's the right. I felt those time it's the right choice, and I still do the same.
Mhm. Now let's get a little bit to general automotive topics because you have a lot of insights from the industry. You talk to a lot of customers and a lot of OEMs. How do you see this whole Green Deal, especially in Europe, and how do you see especially the restrictions against internal combustion engines?
Mm. It's a really tough political topic. Um, I feel that the the battery car will come completely, and but nobody knows when. Will it be 10, 30, 50 years after we are not here anymore? The point is, the infrastructure is not working, and even the car manufacturers said it at the beginning before restrictions were coming. Attention, if you do this, there is no sufficient infrastructure for the people to load the cars, and this is exactly what is happening. For instance, China waived their policy for electric cars already 1 year back. They went to 2045. And also now Europe, they're discussing about 2035. So the engines are coming, and it was obvious that they need to come till the infrastructure is there. But now the car manufacturers already changed or were forced to change their development production process to this new e-car. And some of them have really big troubles to produce a traditional car. So I would say for Germany, it was really a tough decision for the automotive market. And then there's a huge supplier market. So one person at a car manufacturer brings 10 suppliers, so 10 people of suppliers. So if they lose one job there, it's in reality 11, 10 plus 1. And this is, I would say, quite a challenging situation. Um, Also, I would like to say that that for the car manufacturers, they are traditional based, and they don't like to do changes because they know it's working. And if something is working, never change a winning team. So they try not to. Suddenly, the e-car is coming, and in the e-car, they were forced to. The car had 1,000 kilogram extra, but still the crash behavior needed to work. So the structure of the old one didn't work. So they needed to change the structure, fundamental, and they don't know what's happening if they change the structure because their tradition didn't tell them.
Mm.
So this is where digitalization comes into the game. And the good thing is these days there exist these digitalization solutions which gives insights long time before the car is out in the market, long time before the car is produced. But this needs to bring a big rethinking from the car manufacturers of their traditional process by not I don't know. The process is good, no doubt about it.
Mm.
But if you need to
Mm.
develop a car in 4, 5, 6, or 7 years, and others, new ones in China, make it in 2 years or even less, then nobody wonders why they could sell a car to a fraction of the price. So if those cars are coming to Europe, then it's not good, I would say. So I think that's the reason why they discuss that they give some import taxes or whatever. They try to restrict certain cars to come here. Also, the regulations in Europe are not that easy
Mm.
to achieve. Um, but coming to this process needs to change. They need to run on digitalization and they need to rethink their process. How can I not save a week, a month, a half a year? How can I save 2 years
Mm.
in the development process?
So would you say that these European restrictions can harm competitiveness of EU car manufacturers, or how to
Huge.
stay competitive with all these regulations? And do they happen in China, or what is the recipe? How China can develop a new car in 2 years, and here the car manufacturers struggle?
In Europe we have a democracy. And in China, you just decide you don't need to discuss, you do
Mm.
it. I am for democracy, right?
Mm.
That's fine. But if if it's over-regulated, then nothing is moving anymore.
Mm.
And a lot of regulations are so complex and nested into others, which delays the whole process.
Mm.
And suddenly even projects die before they even start
Mm.
because they didn't get approval.
Mm.
So this is also one aspect. Then a lot of things need to get changed. But the other one is even the car manufacturers have the chance to make everything different. But they need to change their traditional process here.
Mm. I see. I'm asking because it's been a couple of days since the announcement of bankruptcy of the battery manufacturer Northvolt, which is like a big harm
The
actually.
big European one,
It's
right?
a big
Never,
European. It
yeah.
was the hope, and now it's gone. So that's why I'm asking if you have any idea or a recipe how to really stay competitive in this challenging world. And you say it's most likely digitalization, which is what we actually do. We can help.
Yeah, y- the labor work in China is much cheaper than
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
But they do in addition digitalization.
Hmm.
And they have,
They do.
yeah, sure.
Hmm.
And they have very low restrictions in their processes. So the whole environment is totally suitable for them.
Hmm.
But only for Chinese. You cannot come from Europe and go there and do it because they will at one stage doing it on their own. They will learn from you, and then their new brand is coming and do exactly what you did, different and cheaper.
Hmm.
So it's very difficult.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's going to last question. What is the future for ESS? How you see the next big milestone? Now we have 10 years, we have ABB as a strong partner. What will be the next milestone to achieve for ESS?
Yeah. I first I'm really proud that we turned 10 years old. We have a fantastic team and a lot of good contributors, a good network, nice customers. So it's really nice. Also, the investment of ABB gives a bit of proof of the team and the solution that they like it very much because otherwise they would never have invested. Now, the next step is definitely to work on this cooperation and to make it done. Let's say, try to access the advantages what we get from ABB, give ABB the advantages they can get from us, work in close teams, try to get it done. For instance, definitely a milestone in this will be the 10 years conference, what we plan in autumn next year, as you know, because you are mainly involved. It's a co-host with ABB in Vienna, 2.5 days, also with hands-on. And I think it will get a fantastic event with a lot of added value to the visitors in this domain. So let's say this is the next big milestone. It is definitely.
Do you have any timeline for implementing the solution with ABB? You mentioned the combination of Robot Studio
Mhm.
and ESS solution. Is there any even a rough timeline when we might expect it?
Yeah, sure. It's completely scheduled from the first time where ESS results can get read into this product, and ESS can read their product so that there is a nice coupling in between. Um, this will happen in 25. The final integration
Mhm.
will happen a little later. ESS has a small customer base. Robot Studio has a huge customer
Mm.
base. It's a different quality assessment, and
Mm.
I think they are reacting very fast, despite the fact how big the company is.
Mm.
So I, I like it. I think we can learn a lot from them, but it takes some time.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much. So, thank you for your precious time, and we all wish ESS all the best
Mm.
for the next 10 years. And hopefully, we will meet again in such a wonderful occasion like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for organizing. I have to say, I really enjoyed it, and it's more comfortable than I was thinking.